I'm pleased to be joined today by Professor Paul Kelly, the Chief Medical Officer of Australia, to provide an update both on the vaccination program and in relation to the progress of the COVID-19 cases around Australia. In particular, there are real signs of hope today. We have now achieved the 95% vaccination rate for 16 plus, and we have just had a record 3-day vaccination period of over 1 million vaccinations, not just for the rollout, but for Australian medical history. So Australians are stepping forward, our vaccinators are doing their work. That's helping to protect Australians, and that is linked, of course, to the hospitalisation, serious illness, ICU and ventilation rates, which Professor Kelly will address. First, I want to start in particular with the vaccination rates. We have achieved the 95% vaccination rate. That is often referred to as a full vaccination level, but we want to go further. We want to continue to encourage Australians to come forward and to see that, which is a figure that has surpassed almost all possible predictions that were made at the outset of the pandemic and at the rollout, is an achievement for all Australians, but in particular for everybody associated with the rollout, and above all else, our vaccinators, our nurses, our doctors, our pharmacists. Pharmacies passed over 4 million doses yesterday, and we're seeing in the order of 250,000 doses a day in primary care alone. We have 92.5% second doses, and those numbers are continuing. And very significantly, we now have a rolling 7-day average of the highest rates of vaccination, not just through the rollout, but on record for over 60s, over 70s, over 80s and over 90s. So the very people who are most in need of the boosters are the ones that are coming forward. And on that front, yesterday we had over 339,000 vaccinations, and we now have a rolling 7-day average of vaccinations of over 1.91 million vaccinations. So over 1.9 million vaccinations in 7 days, and in 3 days, 1,032,000 vaccinations, the highest at any time during the course of the pandemic, the highest on record in Australia at any time in Australian history. In relation to boosters, 245,000 boosters yesterday. We've now passed 4.86 million boosters, or 52.6% of the eligible population. That is rocketing up, and I want to thank everybody for coming forwards, and all of our doctors and our pharmacists, our state providers, Indigenous providers, and Commonwealth providers over and above that. With regards to children, I'm very heartened by the fact another record day yesterday. 57,840 children were vaccinated in the 5 to 11 age group, and that now takes it to over 250,000 children in 5 days. 255,000 children have come forward with their parents to ensure that they've been vaccinated, and there are 1.2 million doses that have been delivered for children. So there's almost a million doses available in fridges for children, so plenty of opportunity. If your child hasn't been vaccinated, please keep coming forward. So it's going to protect them, and it's going to protect, in particular, all of those in the community. So it has that double effect, as Paul has explained on many occasions. Finally, just in terms of cases, I do want to make this point, that there are real signs of hope, and it's a very challenging time. It's a challenging time for the world. We saw that in the last few days, the global official numbers have passed 4 million, up from 500,000 a day before Omicron, and that's the official numbers, and we know that the global numbers are inevitably vastly higher than that. At the same time, and Paul will provide more information in looking at the work of the AHPPC and the hospital analysis that we've done. But what we're seeing is that the total numbers on ventilation at the moment are 124. This is an increase of 74, despite almost 1 million cases since mid-December. And so to see almost 1 million cases in total, but a net increase in the number of people on ventilation up from, a net increase of just over 70 from 54 to 124 is an extraordinary testament to the power of vaccination to prevent serious illness. So if you haven't been vaccinated, please be vaccinated. The very last thing I want to do is announce $10 million in funding for cancer screening, and this is to support research into lifting our already very high rates in breast, bowel and cervical cancer screening projects right across the country. We know, for example, that just in terms of bowel cancer, if we can lift our rate of screening from 45% to 60% between now and 2040, we are likely to save over 80,000 lives. And so screening saves lives. It's an important message. It's an important part of maintaining our general public health over and above what we're doing with COVID. I want to thank everybody, in particular, passing the 95% vaccination rate for over 16s and a record 3-day vaccination rate of over 1 million, 1,032,000, the highest on record, not just through the rollout in the pandemic, but in Australian history.